This is a salt-baked chicken. Salt baking is a traditional technique from lots of different cultures. Hakka Chinese, India, Italy, France, anywhere where there were no ovens inside. So here's how we make a salt-baked chicken. Start out with this chicken is about 5 pounds. It was pasture raised here locally in the Hudson Valley. I try and use as many local products as I can. However, since we're making a salt-baked chicken Chinese style, some of our ingredients are not local. The most important thing is to have a really dry chicken. This chicken I took out of the refrigerator about an hour ago, so it would come to room temperature. That's really important for when we put things in the oven. And we want it to be really dry because it actually helps it, even though it's going to be covered in salt, and it could be lacking in color from, traditional roasting. But if it's really dry, it does get some color. So I'm going to keep it nice and dry. And we're even going to dry the inside a little. And while that's happening, I'm going to start making a little spice mixture that we'll use to put in the salt, to season the salt, as well as putting some inside the chicken itself. This is Chinese 5-spice. It's a pretty strong flavor, so we won't use very much. Szechuan peppercorns. And these have a unusual aroma and a very tingly kind of feeling on the tip of your tongue and in your mouth once you eat it. So again, not too much. This ginger is actually from Hawaii, and I like to get the Hawaiian stuff. And this is star anise, another interesting and unusual flavor, and amazing aroma. And we're just going to crush these. My handy mortar and pestle. It doesn't need to be too finely crushed. And some of this is going to go inside the chicken, and some of it is going to go inside the salt. So now we'll stuff this little chicken first. I'm going to take these scallions, break them in half, put them inside. We'll take some of the spice mixture and put that inside as well. Even though I said we wanted our chicken to be really dry, I still want to season it some more. So I'm using this spirit. It's a Chinese spirit called Roses. It's made from rose blossoms and a spirit made from sorghum and wheat. But since we do want it to be really dry, I'm going to use my special kitchen tool, just my hair dryer, and we're going to dry it, but without removing it from the chicken. All right, now we're all dry. And we're going to move on to our salt mixture. This is about 3 or 3.5 pounds of kosher salt. And I like to use kosher salt rather than iodized salt or sea salt. Sea salt is wonderful, but it's very expensive. Iodized salt has a slightly bitter flavor when it is used in this way. So this is regular salt. We're going to use more of the spice mixture that we have. And in fact, I think I'm going to add a few more pieces. Like how it looks. And then what we're going to do so that the chicken will actually be covered in salt is we're going to add some egg whites. And the egg whites are just used to make this a little bit paste-like. So what we want is a sandy mixture, and it's a very aromatic sandy mixture with all those spices. Looks pretty good. And then we're going to take this is a clay pot that I've used in the wood-fired oven many times. In fact, I've used it so many times that the black glaze has worn away and it's starting to turn back to its original red clay color. But I know that it's safe in the oven, even if the oven is, 500 or 600 degrees. So we'll start with making a layer of salt on the bottom. You can see that. And then we're going to take our nice dry chicken and put it in. It's a little bit of liquid still on the bottom, but that'll be dried up in an instant. And then we're going to just cover the entire chicken. Now, if you're concerned about making sure that the chicken is always completely cooked, which of course I want you to be always concerned about that, can leave a small spot on the side that's just a little bit less. I have it right around the thigh, and I have a spot where I'll just put slightly less salt, but it will still be covered. And we do that just so we can stick the thermometer in there, the instant read thermometer, later on to make sure that the chicken is cooked. And there you have it. Let's get this chicken in the oven. Now you'll notice that there's no fire, live fire in the oven right now. And that's really important because you don't want to burn anything. You want just the radiant heat to cook the chicken. You don't want live flames. And now we're just going to close her up, and in 45 minutes we'll be back. So I've checked the internal temperature on the chicken. It's 155 degrees. I'm going to pull it out. And it'll keep cooking for a few minutes, and we need to let it rest before we cut into it anyway. And so by that time it'll be 165, which is where we want the internal temperature to be. It's looking good. Chicken looks great. We're going to start taking off the shell, the salt crust, and give it a few whacks. You can use pretty much any tool. I've used a crab mallet, I've used a meat mallet. Just kind of go around it a little bit, and the pieces will just come off nicely. And there you go. I usually give it a little brush with a pastry brush for the excess salt that's just sitting on the outside here. And now it's ready to carve. So first we're going to, oh, look at all that juice. It actually barely even needs to be cut. It's so moist and tender. Oh, it's just too good. I have to taste it first. It's steaming. Oh, it's good. Since we seasoned the chicken today with Chinese flavors, we're going to continue that theme, and we have some roasted peppers with garlic, and we're going to have some green pea shoots, also sauteed with garlic and a little bit of chicken broth. And now I'm going to taste.